All right. What about now? Can you guys hear us now? Type
Hey,
22 if you
hey,
can hear
hey.
us so we can do our whole introduction again. How did Americans get to the moon?
We did not. Other Americans did.
She doesn't even
Possibly.
believe we went to the moon, actually.
Possibly.
She doesn't even believe we got to the moon. Okay, so we have to do the whole intro over again. All right, guys. Here we go. We got an entire album review. The name of this band is Savatage or Savatage. I don't know how you're supposed to say it.
It's not Savatage.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because
Savatage.
No. It's got to be Savatage.
All right, Savatage. Yeah, I don't think Sori believes we went to the moon. I haven't checked on her in a while on that question, but that was a real big thing at the beginning. She was like, I don't know.
The more stuff that I was doing.
You watched that Joe Rogan episode kind of fucked you up.
Well, there was a lot of weird things. Like, how are you going to say, like, the actual footage of it, what they recorded it on, suddenly we don't have the stuff to play those videos anymore? It's like, wait, how are you going to take something as epic as that? That's like saying, we had it on VHS, but we lost all of the players for that. Why would you get rid of that if you had some such important VHS player? Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Some weirdness.
All right.
But whatever. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about Savatage.
Savatage.
If you're Vin, or Savatage if you're Sori. The name of the song that we're about to do is called Jesus Saves. And I'm not going to read that because I don't know if he wanted that read out loud anyway.
Okay.
He's Mojo, your note was funny.
All right, here we go. Savatage.
Okay, so I have the official over here. He's going to play a non-official for you guys so it doesn't get blocked. But I'm going all in. I'm listening to the official over here.
Jesus Saves, let's go.
Go.
You guys can see this.
Jesus was a tough that just out of place for your three. Hung out on the boulevard. Meanwhile, 7 nickel candies. He was saving up all his quarters. He bought himself a cheap guitar. Started playing bars. Kids came in their cars. Hear them shouting at the stage. Jesus saves. Jesus saves. Yes, it does. Jesus saves. Jesus started changing. Things got pretty strange. He saw his t-shirts everywhere. He started missing shows. The band came down the blows. But Jesus, he just didn't care. Things got out of hand, so he quit the band. Still the critics, they would rave. What? Jesus saves. Jesus saves. Yes, it does. Jesus saves. beneath the flashing sun, promising salvation to strays. Jesus saves. Jesus saves. Yes, it does. Jesus saves. Hear him cut through the night on those late night radio waves. Jesus saves. Yes, it does. Jesus saves.
There is supposed to be according to Mojo, he says at the beginning of the safe link, there is you missed a narration from the album. So where did you put that? Is it in Trello? Because I want to play that.
He doesn't know anything about Trello. I've
got track 2, Jesus Saves, super remastered, and then there's the official video. I don't see anything else. Is that an email? Did he send you that list in email?
Yeah, but I copied all this stuff from the email, so I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
He said it was before that track, because I don't want to miss out on the narration, especially since apparently that was the only narration that they allowed on the thingamajiggy. Here we go.
All right, well, while you're...
yeah.
While you're doing that, I'm going to play this. I liked this part.
Okay. What part?
I'm going to play it out loud. That.
That one?
Yeah, I like that. And then at the
obviously.
at the end, you're gonna like this. You weren't able to see this because you weren't watching. I gotta mute that so we don't get in trouble. So we don't get blocked. Blocked. Right here. You're gonna like this moment. So he was doing the vocals the whole time by himself, and then at the end, see, they yelled together.
Oh, he handed that out to his guitarist?
No, they did it together. They yelled into the microphone together. See?
Oh, yeah. No,
you could tell that they were both doing it together? Okay. Because I didn't know what you were looking at over there. But,
yeah, I don't see it even in the video.
Yeah, in the email. Yeah, but just resend that one to us. Because we'll pull that up.
Yeah, you gave us 2 links, right? One link was the Jesus Saves, which was like radio friendly. I mean, YouTube friendly, I guess. And then you had the other one. Let me see. Yeah, the track that you sent goes straight into the song. It doesn't have the narration.
Yeah, even in the official, there was no... I didn't hear any narration at the beginning of that.
Hey, just resend it, bro. Like, we'll comment on the song, but I want to see the narration, though. All right, so let's go into the lyrics, and then when he plays the commentary.
Yeah, it definitely just went right into the song. Okay, so I didn't have the lyrics pulled up when it was going on, but were we talking about a drug dealer and he was being called Jesus? Is that what was happening?
Well, the rock opera is about a guy who's a drug dealer. He becomes a band, then he becomes a drug addict.
Yeah.
So that's the protagonist of the... So Jesus is the protagonist. It's not some random drug deal. Like, he's the centerpiece of the entire thing.
I know, yeah.
Right now, he starts off... I don't know if he's dealing drugs, but he's selling nickel candies, which... we used to say a nickel bag. Like, you spend $5, you get a nickel bag of weed, and then it'd be good for a hit or two. So we used to call those a nickel bag. So I don't know he talks about, when it says selling nickel candies.
Oh,
I don't know if that's actual.
Babe, what do you think he was selling Airheads?
In other words, like when he was a kid, because they did that too in New York. Like, you get really industrious kids, and they had their own little side hustle going on. It could just be talking about drugs.
I think that in the song before, we had like the kid angle there to it. And now when he starts this out, he says, as darkness falls so hard, come and play. So somewhere out there, alone and out of its place, streets of illusion, soothe the shattered fate.
Oh, you're talking about going back to the first song. That's the first song.
Yeah. So we have come and play in the first one. And then in the next one with the Jesus Saves, I think that they're still kind of sticking with the, I don't think he was selling real candy.
Okay, so... But it says he bought himself a cheap guitar. So if he was drug dealing, he'd be able to get a better guitar, right?
I guess it depends on how successful he was. Well, he says, I used to stand downtown. I used to stand for downtown Jesus. He used to sell drugs and stuff down there. And they call him, it's that, why we used to call him Detox. He was one character that made it out of here. Oh. So.
Is that, okay,
did you notice the way that he was singing it before? Because I don't want to forget.
Okay, that's the problem. See, he gave us the wrong link. So he just emailed the other one with the narration. So that'll probably give us
this is the narration that I'm reading from.
That's exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
so we'll have more context. It's all good. We're in good shape.
The way that he was singing it, didn't it sound like a preacher?
Yeah, which I think was
obviously is what they were going for. But yeah, I just thought it was funny, like hearing him, and just like the way that he was doing it. Even like when those preachers would roll up into town that were like not your regular pastor, and they put the feeling into it.
What was the point of that? Was that like that guy was a rock star, like he was the real deal, and so he'd only be in your city for 1 week, basically?
Honestly, I think it was just, you got pastors that just keep repeating the same things, and they were just trying to like pump up the crowd and get people focused. And it also drew more people in, because if it was the same pastor you were going to see every week, we can wait till next week.
Right.
But if there's somebody rolling into town that's like this big, this big deal, and he's only going to be there for one Sunday, that's the invite your friends Sunday.
Gotcha.
So I think it was that. And it also gave the pastor a friggin' break a little bit.
Here's the intro.
All right, hold on. Wait, actually,
he needs a break. He's soft. He's just going up there.
I know, babe.
Making shit up for half an hour.
Oh, I know.
All right, let's go. Here's the intro to the song.
Hey, man, you got a quarter? You ain't got nothing? That's okay, man, that's okay. Hey, God bless you anyway, man. Hey, I hope I didn't scare you or nothing like that. I ain't no bum or nothing. I used to live uptown once before, too, No, I did, really, I did. I used to come down here and look at all the characters. Never thought I'd be one of them, though. Characters, man. A lot of characters. Hey, you got a minute? Let me tell you a story about this friend of mine. D.T. Jesus. Yeah. He used to stand for downtown Jesus. He used to sell drugs and stuff down there, and we used to call him Detox. Yep. He was one character that made it out of here. Let me tell you about him.
Okay, and then it goes
that
into...
really adds something to it.
Then it goes into Jesus Saves, the song. What does that do for you relative to the song?
Well, I mean... it changes it because, we were just talking like out of nowhere, and we're thinking that this is talking about the protagonist, but now when this thing starts out, it's, you're hearing from this guy that has been through a really rough spot, and now he's talking about a story that he once had. So it just changes.
Who do you
it
think
a
he's
bit.
talking about?
He might be talking about the protagonist. Do you think he is?
What if that bum is the protagonist?
That's what I thought. The bum might be. He said he's not a bum, though. I shouldn't call him.
That means he's a bum. Because my point is, the story arc is he's a drug dealer, rock star, drug addict. So what if this is him
at the end?
At the timeline, he's a drug addict, and he's talking about his previous self. Because remember, he said, I wasn't always like this.
Yeah, but he said he made it out of here.
Huh? Yeah, he did, before he fell into addiction.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's possible.
He could very well be talking... Huh?
I don't think so, but yeah.
He could very well be talking about himself.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
No, definitely. I could see that. Jesus was a talker out of a place...
An out-of-place New Yorker, hung out on the boulevard, selling nickel candy, saving all his quarters, bought himself a cheap guitar, started playing bars. The kids came in their cars. You'd hear them shouting at the stage.
Oh, no. I think he probably was selling candy then. Because it kind of sounds like it's starting at the beginning.
Well, it's like his childhood. That's how he saved up to get his guitar.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I just changed my position.
So, what position? That he was selling drugs or selling candy?
No, before I was like, no, he wasn't selling candy. But now hearing it, we're going somewhere. I think he might have been. And then he bought himself a cheap guitar with that.
I still think the bum is talking about himself, actually.
He could be.
That's what I think. So the guy did his thing. He saved up his money, got himself a guitar, became a rock star pretty quickly. All the kids are cheering for him. But then he started changing. Things got really strange. He saw his T-shirts everywhere. Started missing shows. The band came down to blows, but Jesus, he no longer cared. Which I'm not sure. I'm not sure that. Did Mojo mention about the band like having conflict with each other? Like before they did this record,
no, they had
they were about to hang it up because they got taken for everything they had.
Their manager,
right?
Yeah, it didn't say anything about interpersonal conflict between the band members.
Okay,
but I mean, I feel like
it's gonna come out.
You're dealing with people,
correct? And
everybody has problems, and you're stuffed inside of a tin van. You know what I mean? Like, come on,
yeah,
you're gonna have problems.
So then he quits the band. So he quit the band, but still the critics say would rave. Jesus. See, the other thing that makes me think that this bum is actually the protagonist is because, okay, so the band has always been tight. The reason I think that this is the protagonist self-narrating is because of what Mojo said in the beginning, that the first song is an introduction, but this is really the first song. Mm-hmm. So if this is really the first song, then it seems to me to actually be more thematic about. It would make sense that you catch it at the end of the guy's story, and then everything else is a flashback. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. Because why bring up this story about that other guy unless you're like, yo, that was me. You know what I'm saying?
And then you say, why would you call him Jesus? And that would be because Jesus is a respectable figure, and so he wants to disassociate himself from his past self, from his current self, because then he won't get taken seriously, maybe. Because he's like, no, I really used to be successful, which, unfortunately, you would hear that a lot in New York. I'd hear that a lot from street folks and people looking for drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
They'd always tell you, like, I had one guy say, I used to be a PA or something, like an attorney or something. And then they'd sit there and drop all this, we used to call them poor righteous teachers. And so they'd always have like some knowledge or wisdom for you, but then they would always have that giant flaw that kind of undid their credibility. Mm-hmm. And so it was these weird things where it's like, yo, this guy really does have something to say. And obviously you could see he's been through a lot, but at the same time, it's like, yo, you're in this condition. How can I follow you? You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying, like, that was a dynamic that was Johnny Stout in the house. Long time no see. That was a dynamic that happened a lot with bums in the street or whatever. They'd always tell you that there was something more than what they were. But then sometimes, like first couple times, I was like really listening to them, and then I got cynical just like everybody else. I'd be like, oh, word, yeah, okay. And I was just looking at his hands to make sure the guy wasn't trying to rob me or something like that. But I wasn't. I bet you anything, I would have got a lot of really good wisdom if I'd have just shut up and listened. But so anyway, I'm not sure. Maybe he's narrating about some other guy, but I think maybe he's actually self-narrating here and doing the things that they talked about.
Whenever I had those experiences, like because I mean I'm from Maine. There's a lot more people on the side of the road now than there was when I was a teenager, that I remember. But whenever I got a chance to talk to somebody in that situation and they would start dropping the knowledge, I was always like, oh, okay, I bet this person has some really like interesting stuff. But then like I ended up bumping into too many people that were actually just paranoid people. And when I say just paranoid people, I just mean a lot of their information was like
conspiracy,
really
weird,
off. Yeah. And then
unbalanced.
And then I was like, what are we talking about? And then when you ask the question, then they start getting aggressive with you, like how you don't. What do you mean? Like you don't understand what they're saying. Like it's very confusing. I'd be like, what is this person talking? What are we even talking about here? And then they get agitated with you that you don't know what's going on. Like how could you be this delusional to not know this information? But it's like I didn't know where the line was because there's so much stuff like practical stuff like Gandhi that I didn't know about that I never knew when it was one of those situations or when I was just talking to somebody that was like just paranoid and none of the information that they were giving was true. So that was how, for me, but I didn't get like a lot of times where somebody told me their past. That happened with that guy that told us he was a firefighter and stuff. So I had that experience there, but that didn't happen like a whole lot with me hearing somebody's backstory.
Yeah, this is really interesting. He said, so the dice were cast. That's a brilliant line.
Yeah.
Because the first...
Wait, why?
Because the original line is the die, D-Y-E, is cast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually a way to... It's a poetic way of saying your fate is sealed.
Right, yeah.
So the die is cast. But here it says the dice were cast. As in dice.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of the die was cast, it's the dice was cast. So it's a play on words. Die is cast, dice is cast.
Yep.
It's a play on words. So it's a double entendre. That's all I was saying.
Oh, wait, like when you say die, are you saying the double as in like your death was decided? I don't get what you mean.
The phrase, the die was cast.
Yeah, but doesn't die just mean the dice were thrown?
Well, what it means is that your fate is sealed.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is he's not saying the die was cast. He's saying the dice was cast because that's what you see in the gutter in New York.
Because they play
These
the
guys
dice.
are playing dice all the time.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes they'll kill you over a dice game. That's happened. Because, there's money or gambling. So the dice was cast. Today became the past. And Jesus, he disappeared, headed for New York, or so his label thought. And there he gave away the years.
Wow.
Last seen drinking wine beneath a flashing sign, promising salvation to strays. Hear him cut through the night on your late night radio waves, which is
crazy.
Really interesting because if the bum is him, it's possible that he could be strung out in a gutter somewhere and then a car drives by playing his music, which would be really crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's actually happened to a here's Kevin. Kevin says a die cast is used for molding metal. So that's where the term a die was cast comes from.
Oh, really?
So it's used for molding
I
metal.
literally thought every time they said a die was cast, I always thought that was just like a short form. I thought it was saying like one dice instead of two. Like I thought it was the same thing. Like I always translated that to be the dice was cast.
Yeah, so when you say that, it means that your fate is sealed in the sense that, because it says for molding metal. So whatever that is, you're not going to break out of it.
It's made, yeah, that's
right?
done,
So,
yeah.
Right.
Same thing as when you throw the dice. They are what they are. You can't change them mid-throw.
Yeah, I think it's about the concept of fate. Like, you can't outrun fate. You're just destined to be that, which I think he's using to justify why he's in the position he's in.
What about when he says today became the past? What do you think he means by that? So the dice were cast. Today became the past.
Time just flew by. Because when you're in the middle of that stuff, you know how people they turn around and they go, "Holy shit, I'm 45. What happened?" So I think that's what he's talking about. Hear him cut through the night on your late night radio waves. So I'm not sure who the quote bum is, and shout out to Davey J in the house.
I switched it. I think it is. I think the bum
could be
is
a self narration.
Jesus.
I'm not sure. It's interesting because Mojo.
Yeah, but remember he said it was
not commenting.
Yeah.
On that
he
either
said
way.
that sometimes it was first and sometimes third.
Maybe he's gonna let us. Maybe he's gonna let us figure it out for ourselves. But that's what it looks like to me.
Oh, so, time went by. Yeah.
So that was sort of like
sense.
So the beginning was sort of like the preface to a book. You know how you read a preface to a book, and then this was really chapter 1 of the rock opera here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So having said
really
that,
like
I'm going to give
one.
this is another 9.4 for me.
Really?
These guys are really, really solid.
This
really,
one was
really
another
solid.
9.8 for
Is it
me.
back to back for you? Okay.
Yeah. It's so funny that we both kept the scores the same.
That is funny. That is funny. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Savatage Tonight He Grins Again is up next.
Tonight He Grins Again. That's
and
there's no
there's no big intro. There's no intro at all. So as soon as the commercial finishes, be ready to start.
I wish Middle Earth were here. You know what? So do I. Let me reach out to Middle Earth and say, hey.
Yeah. Reach out to the phone.
We need your expertise.
Uh-huh.
Hey, we're live.
Maybe he's working. I don't know what he does for a job.
I know. He'll tell. Out.
Sorry, out.
Go.